late night show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okay, the weekends, what's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? Very quiet. Very quiet weekend. You could hear a pin drop. Because everybody was like, I think I'm going to slow down on campaigning this weekend because, we kind of tired. No, because, Kevin Mingret, our lovely independent member of parliament, still not arrested, still a suspect, is, talking with investigators. That is for sure. He's cooperating in his investigation and whoever else the investigation is about. The question now is, who they locking up next? Of course, nobody getting locked up. This is just a fact-finding mission that will result in somebody behind bars or somebody's behind bars. Now, the big thing over the weekend, and it's something that we have to talk about because I feel as if we will be a nation of a bunch of complainers and not solution-based. And what am I speaking about? The generators arriving, the container generators arriving. Now, you know me, I don't like to give cookies out to people doing their job because they get a salary slip every single month. However, when you are hard on a politician for not keeping to promises or not fixing situations, you need to also be mindful and also be there to also give them kudos when they deserve it. So, Dr. Luc Mercelina, the leader of the URSM, the Prime Minister of St. Martin, took the bull by the horn and delivered on the container generators that arrived on the island over the weekend, already placed at the GEBE power plant in KB, and they are busy with installation. Now, of course, there are some things that need to be troubleshooted. So you have to fix and you have to adjust, and you just can't just hook up the generator, add the whole island's infrastructure on it and go like, let's see if it works. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. So the technicians are working hard. So 2 people we're going to thank in group, guys. Come on, let's go, sing it with me, say it with me. Thank you, GEB workers, for the past couple of months. I know it's not been easy. People are very, very much so ungrateful when things are going good. And then when they are going bad, everybody just complains and just drags the whole company. But whether we drag you or we commend you, you still get up every single day. You go to work under some crazy circumstances. So I have to tell all the workers of GEBE, thank you, thank you, thank you. It takes a big man to say thank you, right? Because, again, when there's no current somewhere else, somebody gets. When somebody gets it, somebody loses it goes to somewhere else. And we're just doing that over and over and over. And then, of course, government. We want government to do something. Now the generators arrived. Praise God. Yes, GEBE. No. We gotta give Dr. Luc Mercelina the credit. Give him the credit. Just give him the credit. All politics aside, politicians, just say that. Say all politics aside. That's a way of you just being a human being. And just say, hey, Doc, thumbs up. Great job. Because they're here now and we are getting a little bit more stable. And I know we have PTSD for the past couple of weeks because every day we have to worry and wonder, oh my God, is current going to go off? Is it going to go off? I don't know. And then we get a weekend without power surges. We get no power outages, and then we're like, wait, what? Yay? This is normal? Yay! All weekend, no power outages. Yeah, but there are some that still have. So it hasn't been installed yet. It's going to take a couple of days, a couple of weeks before it goes into effect, whereby we have 24/7 electricity again. Okay? All right? Also get some rat repellent because we're going to need it. You don't want them rats mess with the KB power plant and mess up those nice new generator containers. Please. Of course, the USM was on their program, Table Talk, on Monday. And of course, Dr. Luke Messalina didn't make it political. He made it about, it's about Sid Martin. But then he still throws shots. Oh, Doc. Take a look.
And we have committed to the people of St. Martin to bring solutions of problems that has been lingering a long time here in St. Martin. And yesterday I had the great honor to actually show St. Martin that the date that I have given in Parliament for the containers to arrive is exactly the day that I have mentioned in Parliament. And I was very, 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 very proud and actually relieved to see that we are working on solution for the country. These are the containers that you see here in screen. These are the containers. Each of them is about average 1.1 till 1.5 megawatt. We ordered 7 of them, so that means together it's 7 containers giving together 10 megawatt. These are the containers that we leased for the immediate solution for our national electricity crisis, energy crisis.
Wonderful.
And in the meantime already, we have already still 10 generators, 20 megawatt extra coming. This one we rented for 3 months. They're coming with their own personnel, let's put it that way, technical assistance group. It's from the So Energy. They're coming to guide them. They're going to install them. They're going to make sure that they become operational. I think it takes us about 2 to 3 weeks more for these containers to be operational, and then we are good to go to control the load shedding here in the country. After installing this one, we have already paid for other 20 megawatt that is coming, and those one is going to be possession of the people of St. Martin because it's in a rent to own construction, and we're going to get those containers. It's going to produce 20 megawatt extra, and these ones are going to stay until the other ones are completely functional. So these ones is the ones that we're going to use for the immediate assistance to help us with the crisis. The other ones that are already paid for and are on their way is those that are going to be installed to replace these ones, but they're going to give double amount of energy, being 20 megawatt. And next to that, too, I have great news that there is more to come to bring back the deficiency and insufficiency of former governments for us to put back GB where it has to be. Wonderful. With the potential and capacity to supply the country with sustainable energy. And what we're working to now also is to start now already, and we're busy with that, to see how we're going to start working on all the options for renewable energy.
Wonderful.
And most of it will be, of course, the solar panels that we are going to use in all forms with other combinations of alternative energy. And hopefully in 2 years from now, we're going to have a state-of-the-art new energy plan because we're going to invest a lot of money for sustainability and continuity of energy supply in a stable way that if for the coming 40, 50 years, if we do it the right way, St. Martin will never more come in the crisis situation that I took over and encountered there. Yes. But once more, we are here to work. We are not here to show and point fingers. We just do what we have to do.
Yes.
And this is one of the achievements on the short term of the URSM, showing the people that we are not talking about problems, but that we are bringing solutions for our people in our country. That is what I have to tell you about the great containers that arrived yesterday. And we have more things that we're doing for country St. Martin, but it has to go day by day because there are so many things that is a big challenge now in this country due to negligence in the past. But I still believe that with our commitment and discipline and not losing time with engaging in social discussions on social media, pointing fingers, cussing each other, actually hurting each other. No, we stay respectful. We stay respectful as a party also. They can see it.
Yeah.
We have, for example, the same candidates that were with us in the same first election. We have the same candidate.
Yeah.
We were not, and we did not become a party that just opens our doors just to fill the list for those seeking opportunities for their own personal agendas. No, we decided we want to show St. Martin that the people that engage with us are here for the bigger picture of putting the country and the people above self. And this is a way for us to show the world that we are not a party that just accommodates people for them to use a political party for self-benefit, but that we are really together to improve St. Martin for the future of our
I
children.
think it is important that we all come together and realize that it was Doran's fault. But we will not blame anybody. We will not say that it is the National Alliance and it is the United People's Party fault and that the URSM decided to save the day. But it is only about St. Martin. It is not about the bad decisions from every government since I come in to power. I am the best, but I am not patting myself on the back. But I'm not giving you any reason to vote for URSM. All I'm saying is, if you vote for anybody else, you will not have any power. That's saying. The URSM, we love you. Biggest joke ever was when I said, you know, the URSM loves you as much as GB does. That hit hard, right? Let's sing a little bit. I know Miss Stewart right now going like, on Facebook, it's your Facebook warrior for URSM. All right. Today we have a good show. It's going to be interesting. Let's begin.
At GEBE, we take the safety and quality of your water seriously. Every day, our dedicated sample collectors venture into the field, visiting the places that matter to you: water tanks, school, supermarkets, home, and high-risk areas. Once these samples return to our water quality lab at KB, they embark on a journey that safeguards your well-being. Our dedicated analysts take over, sending these samples to the microbiology and chemistry departments, respectively. This is where the magic happens. We test for a range of parameters, and we do this every single day, no matter what, including holidays and weekends. In our microbiology department, we focus on two major tests targeting various bacteria. Confirmation tests are conducted, and we have plans in place in case the results are confirmed. And then we do it all over again, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Rain or shine, your water safety never takes a day off. So when you turn on the tap and enjoy a glass of GEBE's water, you can do so with confidence. GEBE, the power to serve.
Four years uninterrupted, yet the electorate wasn't convinced. January 11th, you were graded and fell short. Your support regressed, yet here you are doing all that you can to get back in. St. Martin, don't be fooled. Let's think critically about our choices. Hashtag keep them out. Fabio Doralis.
At SXM, we're taking travel and tourism to new heights. Here we boast spacious check-in areas, 10 passport control points, comfortable departure lounges, and an exciting new airport mall. Finally, there's an airport in the Caribbean that takes your travel plans as seriously as you do. Princess Juliana International Airport. The experience will move you.
And I'll fall on my knee. Tell me how to wait a bit. Tell me how to wait for. Tell me all that I should know.
Greetings, I'm Anna Elaine Richardson. You know, after the results from the January 2024 elections, I realized it was an opportunity for me to take some personal time after dedicating 4 long years as the Minister of Justice. I didn't anticipate us going back to the polls so soon. However, many of you have been asking me if I'm going to contest the snap elections on August 19th, 2024. Yes, I will be contesting this election. And this is why I'm inviting you to join me and my fellow candidates on the National Alliance slate this Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024, Postulation Day, as we march to the Parliament of St. Martin to submit the qualified list. On the campaign trail, I look forward to meeting many of you as I seek your support and vote on August 19, 2024.
Great job, Carl. Thank you. Jeremy, come on up. For the final word in the Spelling Bee Championship, please spell insurance.
Insurance. Nagico. Insurance.
That's correct. I hope your father can spell Nagico too.
Nagico is insurance. Insurance is Nagico.
Is a woman of integrity, and she believes in what is best for we country. Facing the issue, she will do it carefully. Gracita is who we need, experience guaranteed. Gracita, 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 already. Gracita, 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 number 6. On you
Interview segment time right here on the Late Night Show. Of course, we are going down the road of August 19, the snap elections that is taking place. And we are here with another candidate, Buster.
Yes, sir.
That's how we know him. But let me go official now. Mr. Gums, Mr. Edel Gums. Good day, sir.
Good day, Andrew.
It's my very good brother over here, boy. We make birthday on the same day. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. We're good people.
Now, of course, it is about the snap election. Edel, what you're going to do to yourself? What you're doing?
You see, now you're going to make me pedal back for what I refused 9 times.
I was just about to say, you think I don't know?
All right.
Use every election that has come and knock on the door. Edel, what does Squatter say?
Right. But it's about time though. I realized that most of the no's, even though I was talking about preparation, I know enough what's going on in there, I ain't this, I ain't that. But if you ain't in the kitchen, you're gonna never know what's going on inside of the kitchen. And it was an excuse to cover up fear all along, you know? I had to just get real with myself. Fear was the number one thing holding me back from making this big decision. When it comes to, you know, party leaders and thing, asking me to run, that's one thing. But when you get now the general community, election after election, boy, I thought I was gonna see you. Boy, I thought I was gonna see you. Boy, when you're gonna run. Boy, you should stop running from running. At a point of time, you got to make that decision. And this time, the decision, I would say, was most influenced by my parents because they now, too, getting the chance to see people approach me and asking me them in front of them. And that's that because they don't know me on that level, dealing with the people and the community. They know what others do, but they don't know what others' opinion of their son has been all this time. And it's only when we had a Father's Day lunch and 2 different groups on the way walking out asked me the same question. When we reach home, they say,
it's time?
Edel, I think it's time. Yeah.
You know what I don't get? And for those who always talking, they say, okay, you know what? You should run. And then as soon as they run, they get treated the way they get treated. And then they get discouraged. And also, I guess the politicians that we have now, it doesn't open the door for young aspiring politicians to come because of the flack that they get. How do you? And I guess that's where the fear comes from. But how do you say, okay, forget the noise and let me do what I have to do?
So Number one, I had to get out of my own head. But indeed, like you just said, it stemmed from the general culture and the taboo of being a politician.
Yeah.
Even when sometime now, the sense after making a decision to run and, okay, so he's a politician now, I almost got to cringe a little bit, you know, but when I was small, and good to even mention, 9 years old, I grew up with a lot of group of friends in Dutch Quarter, not one or two, we're talking about 12 people, umpteen people in one neighborhood all day. And from then on, Judy, they're telling me you're going to become a politician. At that time, though, a politician was a good thing in our eyes. Yes, it was a grandstanding position. It's because of my problem-solving skills and, you know, we got this and that going, hey, but what we just don't take the ball and we do all of that. So when they was giving those comments, I would even call it compliments at that time, it was more about a good thing. And today now you got to ask somebody, but what you mean when you say something about a politician? But I hope I could help change that stigma. I know, you know, lately we have a lot of more young ones, fresh ones coming in.
Yeah, which is good.
Yes, and even the stigma with the party lines and other party members, because you're supporting that one over there.
We can't talk, we can't talk. We can't heal each other, we can't heal each other.
I really would like that to change because that has been keeping a lot of the ones who, like me, can come in and represent and really lead this country forward to actually take the bold step.
Why National Alliance, Edson?
National Alliance...
Because you look more like a PFP type of guy. You look more like a URSM type of guy. You go, why National Alliance?
So most of the work that I've done for the last couple of years through credits, the company that I was working for, a year and a half.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Yeah. So most of the work that I've done has been in the tenure of while National Alliance and UP has been, you know, leading the country. And so I've already gotten a chance to develop that relationship with the members inside of there. Also, understanding that while they would call sometimes for my opinion or advice, they cherished my knowledge. And while working together, I realized like this is the team that I would like to be working with at that time. Out of politics is what I mean. And just accepting my advice is grand, because if I would choose maybe another party that doesn't know much about my expertise or how I think or how I work, I would start off as a rookie per se inside of their party.
You'll be stagnant. You'll be stagnant. You don't want to be stagnant.
That's what I mean. So my voice wouldn't be as cherished as being able to hit the floor running with National Alliance. So that's mainly why I consider them the most. Even though I could have bring my expertise anywhere and move the country forward most probably, but just having that relationship and teamwork and team spirit with the National Alliance, it made it a much more easier decision for me.
All right. Now, when it comes to your previous working life, which is Q Credits, you had a fortunate opportunity to be there when it was established.
That's right.
In St. Martin. Young entrepreneurs, I'm sure is one of your core values for this election.
That's right.
So having to deal with so many persons that have an idea, they want to establish a business, but they don't know how to go about, or they hear, hey, free money. Nothing's free in this life.
Nothing is free in this life at all.
And I'm sure you talking to classes, to people, to different persons who are interested over the years, is there hope for the small business community in St. Martin, and hopefully then going to the big business in St. Martin itself? Is there hope?
Well, there is hope. After understanding what the real issue was, as you mentioned, I was there from the get-go, from the onset of credits, which was, unfortunately, I should say, not unfortunately, but fortunately, 5 days before Hurricane Irma. So I left the Windward Islands Bank 5 days before Hurricane Irma, and then the hurricane come and then everything went flat. I check in, but wait, I just leave my job just now, and now credits might even come because they ain't got no business. Then I said, no. It's now the business people starting an existing business going to need that injection even more so often.
Correct.
So I sent an email to the Netherlands letting them know that we flat, but now is when we going to hit the floor running, because every single body would now need a loan to either restart their business from scratch or come up with the idea that they've been had long time and to establish their businesses. You had a part to that question though. You were saying
No, so do you think there is hope for
correct.
The small businesses to grow?
The hope has to be within education, Andrew.
Okay.
We've realized halfway through our tenure in credits, we had to press pause because some of the plans were good on paper. Talking to the person directly was also a good presence, but then after you issue the loan and they go out in the field, you realize what the real problem was. We have employee mindsets. We were taught, go to school, whether you do it here or you go away, you come back, you get a good job, full stop. And since the hurricane, and especially since after COVID, a lot of persons are now more interested in business and the trajectory of their own finances and life. But it doesn't just stop there. You have to have develop a business mindset, so to speak. And you gotta have in that area big time.
You gotta have discipline.
We have to have a lot of discipline,
right, Pete?
and more. But we at when I say we at Credits realized that the issue was education, and that's where the Small Business Academy came to life. Where especially for startup entrepreneurs, but existing too for sure, were able to now come and take that course before they would be able to apply and get a loan. And I'm also an instructor now. Since I left Credits, I'm one of the instructors who teach those classes.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Now your platform for this particular snap elections, what can we expect if elected to Parliament on August the 19th?
Well, piggybacking of where I just left off, I'm not just jumping straight to business. That's what everybody would expect.
Yeah.
I want to focus a lot in the educational part, financial literacy and those kind of stuff. And not talking about teenage and up. We're talking about starting from as a young child in primary school, maybe around 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Because then at that point you could bend the tree while it's young. If the tree and the stump get older tree, you can't. It's much more difficult to move. You got to root it out or get some kind of excavator to get it out. So I want to focus on that. And when persons hear that, okay, he advocating for the businesses, man, me interested in business. Let me put here aside. If you want, it's either two ways to make money. It's either you're doing business. We're talking legally. It's either you're doing business or you are an employee.
You're an employee.
But who employs you is the business. So for me, advocating and making sure that the platform for businesses is there to grow, then you as an employee also have a much better chance to fit within that platform. You're talking about minimum wage, this minimum wage, that got to increase. You can't ask a crippled business to increase their expenses because then now expenses gone up, business closed down, and then what job you talking about now?
Yeah.
So you're fighting for minimum wage to go up, but if it stifles the business who is not ready for that yet, then at the end of the day, you would be without a job the same way. So that's why I want to focus on the business and the education thereof, because then it trickles down to each and every person within our community.
You're on the wrong party now, but anyway, okay.
Stop it.
You know what? Everybody needs a Edsel. Everybody needs an Edsel in the party. All right. So now, legislation is also important since it's a legislative elections, and I'm sure that you saw some of the outdated stuff that we've been having. Any plans for legislation?
Still down the lines of education once again.
Okay.
When it comes to curriculum, making it mandatory that financial literacy and various aspects of teaching business is within the schools. We don't want to ask. If we go towards the lawful direction, then it's a must. So that one for sure I want to see. When it comes to the budget that is created for education as well.
Yeah. One of the big budgets.
And it starts off good, but after a while, sometimes they start to even chop out and eat out from that budget and to fund other projects or whatever.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that I keep that message and keep the word of how important the education is, because all of the different things that they plan to fix by chopping down on the budget from education will then make you need back the education again, because without it, the people still wouldn't be able to flourish. So it's like going inside of a room and you got all the tools there to build a house. But if you don't know what neither one of these tools for, you're going to just be staring at them. So don't worry about creating the platform and then the people aren't ready to use the platform. So that's where now I want to be a super advocate when it comes to making sure that education is well taken care of. It leads to the lack of crime too, less crime.
I here waiting for he to mention sports. He mentioned sports at all. What going on with sports?
I know.
The man it's just who is this guy?
And if I ran before, someone would even say that that's all I want to talk about because that's what I was known for alone.
One of the best basketball players in St. Martin.
So no, that's definitely important too. What sports did mainly for me personally, representing the island, not just playing the sport, but I was representing the island, traveling for basketball, and that's where I became patriotic for St. Martin. When you go against a man and they calling you the St. Martin team, against the Totola team, again, it make you think, no, this ain't about you. This is about your country. So that's where I see sports being, other than the finances that could come from it. You know, if we have someone who made it to whichever one of the major leagues, whether it's basketball, baseball, any sport, it puts St. Martin more on the map per se. And once, just like Curacao, when they got persons that led to Major League, scouts start to come. You don't have to now look for the opportunity, but the opportunity comes looking for you. So I do find that it is important, sports in general, but the reason I'm championing business amongst all, because most of persons' complaint on the island stems around money.
Stems around money.
Yeah.
Do we do enough for local athletes as far as, you know, getting them to where they need to be? Because we always talk about business and also the tourism factor.
Correct.
But at the same time, you know, youngsters, and I'm sure that you've seen it over the years, get a bit frustrated because there's almost nothing to get them, mold them, get them ready. You end up doing it yourself.
Exactly. I've experienced it.
Okay.
So even our selection team that had to go away for Kingdom Games, not a little tournament that St. Kitts holding, a little tournament that's being held here, Kingdom Games. The day that we had to travel, we understood that we didn't have the money for it. Kingdom Games selection team. I remember we was at Jumbo Restaurant at the time, wondering about what we going to do, what we going to this and that. And we matched to the government building as a team. So not see it, I felt it. And then immediately a couple hours later, we understood. And at that time, I was too young to even understand where it came from. That it couldn't come from yesterday, but it is here today. While now we're making a big commotion in front of the government building, we were able to travel finally. So no, I'm a product of that suffering and frustration that you were just referring to. And it's definitely a problem, especially the one where we ain't backing you, we ain't helping you reach the way you gotta reach. But when you do it on your own, you turn out a champion, and on your way back is the balloons and all kind of different thing, and you got all the leaders shaking hands. I didn't sit well with that kind of thing at all. And I'll be very vocal about that on Facebook too. Is most things that I want to express, whether somebody like it or not, may not be a popular thing, I express myself, always. And that part I really don't like. And it stems from the lack of support, like you're talking about. And then all of a sudden you jump on the bandwagon to shake hands once the person did it on their own. Not a cool thing.
Solutions
specifically for that? I mean, we need...
Because I don't want to only hear you say
loud and clear, loud and clear. We solution-based. I mean, it's business we're talking about.
Okay,
business
you see, bring it back.
It's solution.
You bring it back.
The facilities.
Okay,
when it comes to, I mean, that is the number one support that you could give an athlete because they got to train in order to become as good as they could be in order to leave. Besides the facilities, we need more professional educators in the field in the sense of trainers. Because whether it's boxing, whether it's basketball, most of the best are trained by the best. So we also got to invest within not only the facilities, but the persons in order to train. Whether or not we got to first bring someone, because we ain't doing it yet, so we might have to bring some of the professionals from elsewhere and leave the coach, teach a coach. And then we could leave go to hand and then, continue that process on. And then, but when it comes to the facilities, of course, we're talking money. So again, that's where the advocacy, that's where the advocacy for business and saying that we have to keep the budget at large for education. Of course, education goes along with the sport, so that we could do what we're supposed to do in those fields.
Ideas for revenue for the coffers, because it's easy to say that we need to get more, we need to get more budget, but at the same time, for 16 square miles, revenue generating, we need to find ways to get revenue.
Loud and clear.
So any suggestions where that is concerned? I mean, just off of the top, any ideas of how we can increase revenue so that we can actually spend it more on our people?
Okay, so one of the things I was thinking on, I mean, we depend, when we're talking about economy, you're talking about monies that's being circulated on the island. That's not good enough. That's why tourism is the number one thing we talk about, because that's monies from outside that comes in order for us to generate. So I've been saying that we really need, especially in a digital world today, once you and we could find a product and create a culture within our community to sell more digital products, that could be our new second leg of generating income from the outside, bringing in. Say, for instance, a writer, videographer, editing, design, graphic design, all of these things could be done from right here at home, bring in dollars or whatever currency they're spending around the world, and bring it in here. So not only that indirectly, that's how the taxes from us being able to make more money as a community, and we pay our taxes, that would then generate more money for the government, but then also we wouldn't have to be only dependent about what's going on the island, but we could look for money from outside and bring it in. So definitely something I've been looking at.
Why Edel Gums?
Well, why not? My decision to run again, party leaders been behind me. As I said, when I really started to consider it is when the community start asking to have me in. Everybody would explain this popular question on why me. I would like persons to go out and ask the one next to them, why me? Because they know. But I can still answer your question. Government is business. And if I have been advocating for business and teaching business right now, you already know I possess the skill set that is needed within government in order to make money, streamline processes. I mean, everything that you could consider to make a business grow is the same skill set you carry over to government. And if persons could trust me by calling me all the time for advice for business, then they have the trust in me in order to go in there and carry those skill sets over to government and lead the country forward.
Sound like a true parliamentarian already, man. Jeez! Late night show with Andrew Drake. Thank you so much. Respect.
Bless.
Goodbye, man.
Man, my data just ran out.
Here, you can use my phone.
Thank you. Come on, man. My data finished again.
Relax, honey. You can always use mine.
Wait, how come you always have so much data?
I told you I switched to Telem mobile postpaid plans. Those plans come with plenty of data, so I will never run out of data again.
Okay, well, why don't you come over here and show me more about these plans? Because I'm about to switch to Telem data now.
Raising the bar with MP Roseberg. Join her for direct, thoughtful, and inspiring morning updates. Tune in on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings. As we gear up for Election Day, let's think deep and make each day count. Mark your calendars and set your alarms. Let's raise the bar with MP Roseberg, because every day is a step towards a better tomorrow.
Vote for me, your number 6 candidate, Edel Gums, on the National Alliance slate on August 19th. Help me, help you.
Say Martin for this election. Good day. Edward Randy Duran. I'm here now at Dollarson Drive. I must say that I'm proud to see the results of the work that I started during my tenure as Minister of Romy finally coming to fruition. This was a major project, one of 40 roads that we were able to execute during my tenure. As we go along in the year, the more and more roads will come online, and I'm just saying, walking through here, speaking to the residents, seeing the smiles on their faces gives me great joy, because it goes to show that the work was not in vain, and now they can enjoy a smooth ride home. And that is what it's all about. Thank you.
Good governance, for alliance, for the run, with the master plan. To save this country, we need everybody to vote the run.
Very good interview with Edel Gums. Let's go into our, whatchamacallit. It's like I can't remember. It's something that happened way back, but it's relevant to today's day, because it's like St. Martin's not a real place, but it was, but it can be, it should be. So hopefully with this flashback, you can see that, yeah, same thing, just a different time.
Flashback.
All right, what's happening on the lovely island of St. Martin? GEBE. It ain't September 1st. You can't cut me. You can't cut me off yet. It ain't September 1st. I didn't get the invoice. The invoice wasn't right. Anyway, the Parliament of St. Martin met today in the continuation of a meeting that took place on Wednesday. The Prime Minister of St. Martin, Severa Jacobs, was there present because the Minister of Romy at the time on Wednesday was on sick leave. So the Prime Minister put on her big boy pants and she went to the Parliament of St. Martin to answer the many questions from some of the members of Parliament. It was then postponed because the Prime Minister had to have a meeting with the Dutch State Secretary concerning other things. All right, cool. So let's fast forward to today, Friday, where the meeting had to continue, and by far it did. Now, I'm just going to give you the sequence so that you can follow the entire meeting with me, because it was long, it was drawn out, but we got the gist of the meeting. And without spoiling the entire meeting for you, let me just say that GEBE continues to have no respect, none, zero, for the representatives of the people. I just don't understand how these people still have a job. I don't understand. Now, first of all, the members of Parliament had a question. So let me start off with that.
My colleague MP Bryson yesterday mentioned that we react in Parliament, which is our job, to events that happen outside of Parliament, and we call urgent meetings. MP De Weaver sounded an alarm, and thank God we reacted. Why? Because we see that about maybe an hour after the meeting, GB sent out a press release. According to the Herald, GB can no longer finance light and water usage from reserves. So if we didn't sound the alarm, or if MP De Weaver didn't say, hey, let's have a meeting on GB, would this press release have come out to inform the people that we have a problem at the company. Why? Because reserves are being drained. And of course, due to the hack, there has been billing and collection issues. And that's why I say we have a governance problem in this country, because transparency and openness should be expected from each and every company. And if it's a private company, then hey. But for public companies of critical national infrastructure, the people need to be informed, and Parliament also needs to be informed. In March of this year, Madam Chair, the US Congress approved legislation that requires companies with critical infrastructure to report breaches, to report whether they've paid ransomware and any other incidents to the federal government. So I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. We have a couple of companies here, critical national infrastructure, but they don't have any reporting responsibilities. I had to do my research. I said, okay, well, there's the shareholder rep, there is the supervisory board, we have Parliament. What is missing? Something is missing. A regulator. Government has to ensure that there is a regulatory body ensuring that not only reporting is happening, but a couple of other things. So what is the role of a regulator? To impose requirements, conditions, restrictions on these businesses, to issue standards, to conduct inspections and audits, to enforce fines or issue fines if necessary, to promote fair trade, to protect consumers, to make sure when there is controversy that there is an investigation, and to conduct hearings. Who is a regulatory body for GB, Madam Chair? So it's a rhetorical question. I pulled up the ministerial decree of June 28, 2017, where the Minister of TIAT mandated the regulation of the energy sector to BTP. It says, the utilities sector requires a regulatory body to be established for the execution of regulatory tasks. There's a whole other points. The role of this body should be seen as threefold: to protect the consumers from abuse of market power, to support investment by protecting investors, and to promote economic efficiency. There are a whole other set of tasks, Madam Chair Lady, that were put in this mandate. And so after that, however, I believe, according to my research, nothing was done. So without a regulatory body, who enforces standards? Is it the shareholder rep? Who is responsible to hold GB accountable? That is the biggest question that I would like to know. The thing is, right now, Madam Chair, is that the shareholder and the supervisory board do not have direct influence, or should not have direct influence in the operations of the company. But what we see, or what we hear, is that there are certain decisions being made that lack integrity, and there's a serious management problem. And so here are my questions, Madam Chair, through you to the shareholder rep of GEBE, the government of St. Martin. What is the current status of BTP's mandate in terms of actions and outcomes? This mandate was done in 2017. Was anything done since this mandate was issued? Is there any regulation happening right now of GB and the utilities sector? Has the government contacted BTP for the pending advice?
There's a question on the financial statements that I wanted to make sure I bring up and pass on, because GB has had about 3 different temporary managers in the past year alone handling it. And perhaps they are aware of it or not, but just for the sake of clarity here and for everyone listening in, the financial statements are a big deal at GB, because when they actually had loans with the financiers of the generators, they needed to provide the financial statements in a timely manner to avoid a penalty, to avoid being charged a fee because of being late. That's in addition to having it on time for government. Government was always very understanding. Government always let them pass that June 1st but we knew that the priority was to make sure we had the financial statements in by September for the financer. That is no longer the case. Since about 2018, GB has no major loans for their generators, which is why after Hurricane Irma, we had a really good time to have the company build up reserves, work on it after they were hammered by Hurricane Irma, and now again with COVID. I understand it, but the thing is I don't think people understand the importance of having financial statements done in a timely manner or in accordance with the Articles of Incorporation. Because I said we have the last financial statements we have is 2019. The complete financial statements we have is 2018. The reason I call it complete is because the 2018 financial statements are actually in accordance with the Articles of Incorporation of the company, where it is required to have a management report from the managing directors of the company, as well as a board report from the supervisory board of directors. But when I look at the 2018 one is absolutely complete. Goed gedaan. When I look at the 2019 one, it's a public document because it's in Parliament now. It's done by the new auditor for the first time. And I'm a little bit confused because inside of the financial statements, there's no management report. I understand that they had 3 temporary managers for the past year. There's no management report. I don't see any board report by the supervisory board of directors. The supervisory board has subsequently been changed, but they still have responsibilities. But here's the funny part, right? The temporary manager signed off, put a signature on it, and dated it March 2nd, 2022. But when you go in and you look at the financial statements, which in my opinion, being a formal external financial auditor, looks incomplete. It states the financial statements have been approved by the Supervisory Board of Directors on March 2nd, 2021. Okay? But the signature from the temporary manager on the 2019 financial statements are dated March 2nd, 2022. See the problem I have here? Inside the contents of the financial statements, it's 2021. On the front of it, signed by the temporary manager, is 2022. Which is which? Because it now looks like unreliable information I'm getting.
Does GEBE have a strategic plan in place for the company for the next 3 years? Although GEBE is the only player in their market, it does not omit the fact that the company requires strategic leadership and management to remain a viable company. As a result of the recent developments, what is the management board doing to revise or amend the strategic plan? And my final questions pertain to the payments. What is management's approach to the issue with invoicing? There are so many complaints to date still. Therefore, what is management's plan of approach to the current situation, especially seeing that the company has indicated their intention to still continue with the collection of the bills?
So those were some of the concerns, questions from the members of Parliament from today. I'm not going to show you the photos from Wednesday because who cares? Now, the answers, or at least the clarifications, or at least the remarks that had to be made by the Prime Minister before she could come back with all the answers from these concerns from the members of Parliament is shocking. Why I say it's shocking is because the Prime Minister either is just doing this on a fly and hoping that it goes away, the situation with GB just fixes itself by itself, because no matter what, we have to pay the bills either way. And what if some people get cut? Oh well, at least she and the rest of the government have current at home. So, or she has no idea what she's doing. Because in her answers, she basically told the members of Parliament the following.
Parliament is not a statutory organ of NVGEBE.
NVGEBE has no legal relationship with Parliament at all. Parliament is not authorized to exercise any powers over GEBE or its bodies, as some members have mentioned. This means, for example, that the members of the managing board or the supervisory board cannot be summoned to appear in a meeting of Parliament. If invited by Parliament, the managing board and the supervisory board may appear in a meeting voluntarily, but they are not compelled to answer questions or provide information. This power pertains exclusively to the general meeting of shareholders under the restrictions as I mentioned before. From a constitutional perspective, Madam Chair Lady, the Parliament indeed has the authority to summon the minister to appear in a meeting of Parliament to disclose written information. A minister is obliged to appear to answer any questions the members of Parliament may have. In the case of the government-owned companies, in which the Council of Ministers is the shareholder, in responding to these questions, the answers and the information to be provided to Parliament are limited to the information made available to the Council of Ministers as the sole shareholder of NVGEBE. The current crisis that NVGEB is currently facing, and the actions that were taken by the Council of Ministers as the representative of the shareholder. In the course of the last few years, in our capacity as representative, it has been very prudent and diligent in taking actions within the limitations of the law. One important step, which was taken in 2021, was to strengthen the capacity of the supervisory board. Several members were replaced according to the powers granted by the Articles of Incorporation to ensure proper supervision by the board. As mentioned, NVGEBE is currently managed by one statutory manager, Mr. Temer, which actually became official as of last Monday. The appointment was concluded before the conditions for his appointment was met. Last Monday, Mr. Temer finally was concluded with his VHB, which was signed by myself. That was the last condition that would allow the resolution to enter into effect. Before this event, Mr. Temer functioned as a temporary manager as legally assigned by the supervisory board. Please note that the power to assign a temporary manager is the exclusive authority of the supervisory board. The supervisory board previously assigned another acting temporary manager in the person of Ms. Daniel. However, due to Mr. Temer's completion of the appointment, as mentioned before, by law, Ms. Daniel, effective immediately, is no longer functioning as temporary manager. Currently, unfortunately, Mr. Temer is unable to fulfill his duties and tasks due to illness. This enables the supervisory board to assign a temporary manager to ensure the continuity of NVGEBE. I want to clarify, the previous temporary situation is not what it is now. So there was no managed statutory board in place. Therefore, there was a temporary manager and now an acting temporary manager. As of Monday, there is a statutory board in place in the person of Mr. Temer. So this is why I'm explaining. The Council of Ministers, in our capacity as a representative of the shareholder, has informally, during the course of this week and by official letter sent to the supervisory board this morning, requested the supervisory board to assign a crisis management team as soon as possible. We've also, part of the task of the crisis team, management team, is primarily to provide the stability within the organization and to guarantee the proper functioning of NVGEBE as a provider of water and electricity to St. Martin. Furthermore, the Council of Ministers, in its capacity as representative of the shareholder in NVGEBE, has informally, as well as by letter, so in discussions during the week, requested the supervisory board to procure and conduct an investigation, as has been requested, of the events of the past.
So, okay, all right. Confused, I am too, because I watched the meeting over and over and I was like, but she actually say those things, basically stating that she has no type of what is happening with this government? Where the hell are their balls? What is going on? This company basically telling Parliament, you have no right to call me, therefore I don't have to come. I'm here because I want to be here, but you can't summon me. And the fact that there is this whole situation whereby there was a temporary manager who replaced the manager who was on sick leave. So then the CEO who's going through screening, but is busy negotiating her contract, was then appointed the temporary manager for a certain time, but then the Prime Minister ended up signing for the man who is sick now in GEBE as the official manager of GEBE, but yet he can't take his function, but we're gonna appoint a crisis management for GB so that we can fix things. Can we appoint a crisis management for this government? Can we please appoint a crisis management to basically tell the government what to do because they don't know what in the living hell they are doing?
That does it for the late night show. Thank you so much for watching. Until tomorrow, do have a safe and blessed one. Bye-bye.